So the other one is my neighborhood. Literally, I walk by it
It's kind of
hundreds
gone
of
back
times.
to what.
Yeah, we drive past this
what the
place.
zoning was for days.
So I'm guessing it's the
Because
homeowner
in the
that
meantime,
owns
that's
the whole
changed
lot,
a little
or
bit.
the existing house.
Yep.
And now it's gone back to where it was,
You know,
so I think it should be okay.
He actually donated the land, there's two churches on the corner, he donated that land to the church. He's one of the founders of the well.
Oh, seriously?
And now he's an executive at Sling, so he's doing okay. He's doing single family housing, that's
Honestly, yeah, I was impressed that.
best case scenario, Rockville amazing. So what do you think?
So we could work with
Best case scenario.
Yes, there's a lot of.
I would say that the people should resign is probably,
Barry, should we start?
it's higher than 30.
Should we give, is Stacy supposed to be here?
He's supposed to,
Anyway, I was just.
So we give him to 5 after, I don't think we'll set the time, right?
If you want to.
I have approximately.
It depends on how, what you want to talk about.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
No ice and.
let's go ahead and start.
I want to put big white.
We're talking about the discussion.
All right, item 3.1 is a request to forward a recommendation to the city council for a conditional use permit for a T-Mobile stealth cell antenna on top of the Alpine Credit Union at 1510 North State Street. So this shows you the location. And the definition of a stealth facility, I'll just read it. Wireless facilities that have been designed to be compatible with the natural setting and surrounding structures that camouflage or conceal the presence of antennas and or towers, and that have been certified as stealth facilities by the city council. And then below it just tells you how they choose their locations and their priority. So either on existing structures or stealth facilities would be the first priority. So the fact that they went to a stealth instead of a monopole is a plus. The maximum height for a stealth facility is 18 feet. This is per the code. And the applicant may exceed the maximum structure height if otherwise allowed or pursuant to a conditional use permit. However, this particular application is only for 10 feet, so they are well under the maximum allowed. So this shows you the site plan. This is the roof of the Alpine Credit Union. You can see that they have different levels of roof. These telecommunication facilities or maximum maintenance on top of a roof is 25%. They're only using 4%. This shows the plan of where it will be. It'll be on the kind of kitty corner. So it's on the northwest corner. This again shows that they're only using 4% of the allowable 25% rooftop. And this just shows the location where it will be on the northwest corner of the building, which is furthest away from residential and closer to the street. This is what it will look like. They're gonna match the glass facade of the existing credit union, so it will look like it belongs to the credit union. These are the elevations of what it will look like.
So going back to the elevation, how tall is it really?
10 feet.
10 feet total?
Is it?
The facility, still,
Above the
yes.
top of the roof,
It's on top of a roof, so yes.
No, I mean, I'm saying from the top of the roof to the highest, what you're seeing is 10 feet.
So it's 10
What you're
meters
seeing is
on-
10 feet, right?
Yeah, so that's
Is it 10 feet
what it
below?
will look like.
So the parent, if you go back to the,
Two-story building. This one four story.
go back to the elevation.
Oh, elevation.
Because they built it during.
So you can see where the deck is.
It's allowed to higher.
So what you're visibly seeing is 10 feet above that
So,
parapet wall.
so it'd be 10 feet above the parapet wall or 10 feet and part of it blocked by the parapet wall? Because I was curious how much that was.
So the total height, building height is 45.6,
Mm-hmm.
and the C2 is 48 feet, so the building itself is below. And
Yeah.
then from this point to the top of that is 10 feet.
Okay,
So you're visibly seeing 10 feet.
10 feet,
Although it's
but-
sitting on top of the roof,
Okay.
right, which is below the parapet. So you can't see that.
It's 15 feet.
So it's actually 15 feet
Yeah.
tall, but 10 feet are visible above them.
above the roof line.
So we're not, I mean, obviously you can't see the 4 feet below, so there's.
But we know it's there.
They can go to 18 though, remember.
True, but
Yeah, just the language only, that's all, it's the language.
So since they meet all the requirements and they actually went for a stealth instead of an ugly monopole, we recommend that you forward us a positive recommendation. Do you have any questions on this one?
So in the packet, it showed that they're supposed to notify people's houses within 1,000 feet, something like that.
Actually, they're supposed to do it within 500 feet, but we did it within 1,000.
Okay, so the addresses listed, several of them are out of state or very far away from.
We draw from the county side, whoever owns the property gets notified. We don't send, if there's renters there, then they
It
get
says to the,
notified.
this physical place as well, so it does both.
Okay,
If it's an out of state, they'll send it to the other out of state as well,
got it,
or
okay,
wherever it is.
I didn't know that.
okay.
Anything else?
Got it.
So I have a question, where's that code in the packet that we put up there?
It's not in the packet, it's in my presentation. It's in the city code.
The city code, and there's several other city codes that apply to this too, in terms of what we can decide is conditional use. So this is our first conditional use. So I was wondering if maybe we could talk a little bit more about that, about granting a conditional use, because most of us are new and may not understand what that process even means.
Thank you.
So conditional use is a use that the council or city has determined that there might be some conditions that want to be imposed depending on a specific location or things. It doesn't mean that it can be denied. Typically state law, Utah, I'm only talking Utah, the conditional use is basically a permitted use subject to potential conditions if the council or planning commission deem they're appropriate. So if there's something you see on the site plan that you want to have an additional condition to make it approved, there's really no ability for a council or a city to deny a conditional use. Unless there's some condition that just egregiously can't be done. And there's some use that, even though it's there, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, and there's something that just can't be accomplished, then they could potentially deny. But typically based on state law, it's not. It's a permitted use subject to conditions. So that's what it is. So it's a site plan basically. But the planning commission, city council does have the ability to add a conditional use if it's a reasonable condition.
And within our city code, there's conditions on both antennas, the stealth antenna thingy consideration and in general, conditional use permits too. So there are certain things we can look at and say, does it meet these things? Do we have concern about these things? And I think those are important to consider too, just as we're learning this process, is that there's some things we are allowed to consider, but also that there are limitations, both, right? There's some things we should consider, but there are limitations on what we can consider.
I guess the question, I have a few questions.
I do too.
Okay, you go first.
What impact would that 10-foot have on some of the sightlines of the people who live east of there? So the type of, like, how's that gonna impact?
Well, it's within the ordinance, so there's not, I don't know that there's a lot of impact as far as, I mean, they can have up to 25% of the roof covered with structure, penthouse or enclosure, these are at 4. So I don't know that that's, they can have a maximum of 10 feet, and they're under that 10-foot capacity, they can still go up to 48 or 58 feet. So I mean, within the parameters of the C2 zone itself, they meet it without having to, and they're not asking anything additional above what's already allowed. So, because they're wanting to enclose it, is what's throwing it into the stealth. They could technically, and Mr. Earl should be here, but they could technically do it without the enclosure and not have to go to city council as a conditional use.
So they could
do it stealth. Here's Steve now, maybe can explain it better. So the antenna itself can go on the roof without having an enclosure, but by doing that enclosure as a stealth, it does throw it into the stealth requirement. So maybe you can explain briefly the difference between doing the antenna without the enclosure and the enclosure.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry to hear what you've already said, so sorry if I.
Just barely talked about the conditional use permit process.
So our wireless telecommunications ordinance has kind of an anomaly, if you will, in there.
That's weird.
So like Jason was just saying, if you put an antenna structure on an existing building, it's permitted. But if it's a stealth structure, it requires a conditional use. Now, the reason why that is in there in the ordinance is because stealth structures are treated a little bit more favorably in a couple different ways. The first way is that a stealth structure can go 18 feet above the height of the existing building, where in this case, a non-stealth would be limited to 10. So if it is treated as a stealth, it could go higher. The second thing is normally our monopoles or our cell towers have to be 1,000 feet apart. But if you're a stealth structure, then you're not subject to that limitation. So that's why we have a distinction in our ordinance between stealth and non-stealth. It wasn't really intended to apply in this situation, it's just kind of an anomaly, I guess. But so the irony is it could be approved as a permitted use without the screening structure, but if it's treated as stealth, then it has to be a conditional use, so.
Out of curiosity, where's the nearest cell tower to that?
I'm sure it's less than it, it's by 800 north.
Do we even have any other cell towers in
Yeah,
the
it's
city?
by the dish network,
We're at
got
Cascade, right, elementary? There's a couple of.
Is it stealth? Is it like,
Oh, no, south, but it's.
just a cell tower? Yeah, yeah. Okay, I thought you were talking about stealth.
So there are two cell towers, there's one on 8 north by the
Power
This one.
substation.
Yeah, and there's one by the Cascade, and this is, I don't know how many feet apart are those from that location. Maybe that's why we need a stealth. One, because it does not meet the requirement of the distance. Two, because it would not meet the requirement of height. They would have to go down to 5 feet above the parapet.
Yeah,
They
part of
make
it
it
is,
10 feet.
part of it is they're trying to increase the
10 feet.
coverage of.
What?
They can go 10 feet high, they can actually go 18 feet, they're only going.
But if it's not stealth.
So let me back up.
How high can they go if it's not stealth?
If it's not stealth, they can go 10 feet.
On what?
So
Above on the roof or the parapet?
Above the parapet.
Above the parapet.
Yeah.
Okay.
58 feet max.
Now, can I just stop there? So I don't understand how the parapet is different from the roof. Isn't the parapet just a screening around the roof? Isn't the roof the roof?
It is,
And
but there's
isn't it
still a
ten-
height, there's still a
isn't that
height
the
limit.
base measure that you use? You don't use the parapet, do you? You use the
We do,
roof.
yeah. So overall height is based on the top of the wall, top of the parapet.
So the parapet is not the roof though,
No, but it is
right?
the
That's why
top,
they call it a parapet, because you got the roof, then you got a parapet.
So we
So
measure
where
for-
does our measurement start? That's my question.
on top of the parapet.
You think it's the top, I thought it said roof in the ordinance.
The ordinance said roof, did not
It says
say by parapet.
That's my question.
Can you pull the ordinance so we can look at it?
Yes, right there.
So the height in the 10 feet would be, well, I guess that's the question, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
because those
guess,
saying
I just
18
think we
feet
have to
high.
be careful with precedents with that.
But I think you might be talking about something different. Are you talking about the C2 standard where you can only go 10 feet for like 30% coverage? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, that, but also this definition of where the roof is.
Okay,
To me, that could get us into trouble down the line. You know what I mean?
yeah, but I think in this case it probably doesn't matter just because I think we're talking about, when we're talking about the height limitation, we say it can go like 10 feet above the maximum height, I think, right? So in the C2 zone, the maximum height is 48 feet. So this structure could go up to 58 feet, and I think they're only proposing 55.
Okay, but do you go, and here's another one.
This says structure height, not roof.
Yeah,
And it's not measured by the height of the building, it's measured by the maximum height.
well, actually,
So
it
that was
says
my
18
question,
feet over
is if
that.
once the building's built, is that your beginning point, or is it always your C2 48 is always your beginning?
Well, let's double check the language, Cheryl, can you go to 22.8.8?
I don't have 2288.
How big is the current building on there right now? The current height,
45.6,
45.6 is the height.
that's the top of the parapet.
Yeah, top of the
If we go to the roof, it's gonna be lower.
You know I always have problems with this.
I can pull
Mine
it
won't
up,
even connect,
Steve.
so-
That cell tower is 2,800 feet from the closest cell tower,
Okay.
based on our GIS map.
So I'm looking double.
And where is it?
So why would they be doing stealth if they don't need to? I mean, they don't need to,
I don't think, I think they're just trying to make it look better, you know, not have it exposed.
they don't want an antenna sticking out of a
Yeah.
bank?
Yeah. I mean, that's my guess, I don't know.
And while you're looking for that, how come Alpine Credit Union? I know lots of schools that want these towers so they can get the money from them.
They want them geographically placed where they service their gaps in their service.
Yeah, it's probably a
So they
coverage
usually
issue.
look in a coverage.
So who approached whom on this, do you know?
Doesn't matter.
Oh,
I don't know what that means.
Like, did the credit union say, hey, T-Mobile, we need better coverage? Or
Imagine
oh,
T-Mobile.
say, hey,
Yeah.
credit union.
I suspect that T-Mobile probably approached them, yeah.
And the applicant is not here, right?
We have, I mean,
They will
Tippinokas High School has a cell tower, Orem High School
Chip
has a
does
cell
too.
tower. Mountain View and all, there's a lot of schools.
Yeah, well,
They want them, I was just in a PTA meeting and they're like, can we get one, cause they give money to the
Yeah,
PTA.
right, I
For
mean,
these poor schools, the ones
Yeah.
that are poor.
so we actually, in our ordinance, we have an order of priority where we want cell towers to go.
Okay,
And so the first priority is on existing structures. So that means on top of the building, basically. But then if somebody wants to do a standalone monopole, then we say you've got to either go on city property or school property. Or if those locations don't work, don't give you adequate coverage, then, and only then, you could go to private property. So we do, in our ordinance, require them to go on public property first, if they can make that work.
oh, so they couldn't, and so that's why they went to the credit union.
But that's the second priority. The first priority is on an existing structure.
Okay, that's fine.
Or city property.
What was that code you
Those are
gave,
equal?
Steve?
It was 28.
No,
Those are equally
no,
favorable?
no.
He asked for
No,
height, it's
on
22,
an existing structure
88
is first
yeah.
priority, yes.
It's 48 is the max for C2, and then you'd have the 18 feet above 48.
2288, you want pulled up?
Yeah,
There you go. You want-
You need the,
maybe we've already answered the question, but we'll look at it.
No, we'd love
No,
to
I
look
think
at
we
it.
should,
This is all,
Oh,
I
you're gonna
think
be
that's
the operating
reason
this?
much for
Yeah,
stuff.
put it up on the
Very-
Tell me where to go, I'll go.
And then, I'm just kidding.
This is 56 already. That's why.
I was gonna let them do this.
Okay, are we showing the screen here?
So why don't we
No.
see now we have 20?
No.
Can you just,
Well, you might.
You just we were supposed to.
I'll just show.
go out and go into a web browser?
So,
I'd like to see, sorry, I'd like to see it on the screen.
Okay, so let's put it on the screen.
I can't from that, because I don't have that adapter.
Unless you wanna go dig through the videos.
So,
But like,
Plug it in there, use that adapter.
I spent 3 years ago.
I was reading.
yes, no, so can you?
I don't have that same adapter.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have a chart, that's what I said, I mean, like, as far as the max height, he's pulling it up, so.
2288.
Yes.
2288. The maximum height of the building is 48 in C2.
Are you seeing what's on my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Now we are.
Okay, just
Then you're not
scroll
scroll that
down to
way
the
up.
footnotes, basically, of that table.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then
we'll
it
look at
gets
the note
really
right there.
complicated from there.
So,
make it really big for us, Cheryl.
no, it's hard to read.
Which one?
The bottom, yeah,
There.
there you go. So in all commercial, the note at the bottom there, in all commercial zones, so it's talking about these antennas, all these appurtenances, can extend up to an additional 10 feet above the maximum height allowed in the zone.
So
Not-
58,
Not 10 feet above the
Above the
building,
building,
but 10 feet, above the max height.
I see,
Max height.
and the max height is
40.
40,
Yeah,
so it makes it 58
yeah,
max.
that would be the
And
max.
right now we're at
55.
The building is
55 with the top of the
45.6,
tower.
and it's 10 feet higher, so it's 55.6, so
The
it's
building is
2.5 feet lower than.
Okay.
At the top of the parapet, so.
The top of the parapet's the 45.6. And then we're 10 feet above that.
55, okay.
And it makes sense
Oh,
to
question over here from
what you're
I don't know if I'm
seeing.
allowed to ask a question or say something as a resident.
Go for it.
Mason.
So the mailer said that it was a 10-foot tall structure,
Mhm.
and I live right at the view of the parapet, and I understand the parapet situation where it's hiding some of the mechanical. So it was misleading and confusing to me when I understood that there was a 5-foot parapet, I'm like, oh, 10-foot structure, 5 feet of it's gonna be concealed by the parapet. Until I got clarification and recognized, no, it's a 15-foot structure, where only 5 feet of the 15 is gonna be. So that was difficult and the neighbors that I've talked to have not understood it either. They think, oh, we're only gonna be seeing like, what, 5 feet of it, that's no big deal. No, you're gonna be seeing 10 feet of it. So that was not clear in the mailer, and so that's what's a little bit tricky with this dimension. Cause I have a good level view of the parapet. I see the mechanical more than most people see it because of my vantage point from my home. So that was just a little tricky in the numbers there, so.
So I have a question. I thought, is the antenna and the structure itself 15 feet? I thought it was only 10.
10 above the parapet.
10 above the parapet, okay.
So it's 15 total.
Back to the parapet.
Just-
Right back to the
I'm
parapet.
so glad you also got confused. I'm so happy you did too.
Yeah, I know, I thought the structure itself was only 10.
No, I spent time trying to figure out exactly how tall it was and how far, because like, I mean, I drive past there all the time, so, and I'm looking and I'm thinking like, how much is this really gonna stick above this building, and, cause all the other things are solid white,
Proposed.
and so suddenly putting this glass
Didn't have
enclosed
any measurements or anything.
thing in the middle of the roof, I mean, my art history background just kind of screams.
So would you rather have just the antenna?
No, I personally, I'd rather have it be white mixed with what else is on the roof, but it's,
I mean, if you wanna make
Disney
suggestions to
would
the
paint
structure
it by-
that encloses it, you
Yeah.
know, to make it look better,
Oh,
I think you could.
I know that's a side issue from whether or not we,
It's important.
And they are matching the existing building.
Part of it,
part of it.
Is it gonna be
The front.
glass or is it
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be glass.
metal like the
It depends on the angle.
parapet?
This is the side.
Disney
It matches
painted
the
by
side
red
from the
wood.
front of the street.
You wouldn't see
A lot of
it.
it's brick,
That's the front.
and it's like wood.
Some clouds
That's
on
cool.
it.
Glass
The
is
front has glass
half the
and
glass is
brick.
front, half of it's brick.
So it's trying to match this half
Oh,
is
definitely
on.
across the street.
And it's gonna match the part that it'll be sitting on top of, because this is the northeast corner of the
Yeah.
building.
So it's matching the parapet or it's matching the glass?
It's matching the glass with no parapet around it.
It's matching,
we
yeah.
want another parapet.
Yes.
I couldn't even tell that it is a parapet, looking from that angle.
You can't tell.
You
right?
can't.
Oh,
Yeah.
see
The only
other
reason
side.
you
Yeah.
can tell is
You
the
have to be
little
able to
white
read it,
bits. The little white bits from their other mechanical stuff back there that actually you can see sticking out.
And actually, the two roofs are the same height, right?
No,
They're
Oh, they're
just,
not?
No, it depends on where you go.
It's made of two
Okay.
different materials. There's the glass and there's also kind of a matte finish soffit. So if there's gonna be that matte finish soffit that separates the two glass structures, with what do you call it, the structure, and then there'll be like a matte finish, so you see that top strip, that's actually a matte metal soffit, it's not glass. And then you see the pane glass, which that top square is parapet. Does that make sense?
Parapet
There's two squares there of glass, the top square is parapet, and then the top strip is a matte, like charcoal gray soffit.
It looks like it's gonna match the parapet.
Oh. What part of the parapet, the glass or the matte?
I'm done.
you just
Exactly.
like, you just like saying that word.
You lost me on parapet.
So Cheryl, am I seeing this right, that that's located close,
Yeah.
closest to
To
State
the
Street?
Yes.
Are there any other questions? Because we've only got a few minutes left.
Okay,
Second
Okay,
item.
we've got the second item, yeah.
That's where it's gonna match.
The matte soffit.
So I guess the question is, if it wants to be stealth, great, if it doesn't, then you just tell them to take it off.
So that's
Just
just where it's
a
located.
side-
You know, one thing I would suggest too is, this
Well,
is,
I have pictures, and I don't think that's-
like it or not, it's probably better than a wall.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No, I have no problem with the
So
cell tower in and of itself. Personally, I don't like how high it comes up off
Yeah.
the roof. It's gonna look,
But
Awkward.
most monopoles go up to 75 to 100
oh,
feet.
yeah, absolutely.
So it's lower than that still.
So here's what you probably need to understand as well, is this roof can have another 19 or 21% coverage of 10 feet.
Mhm.
So the fact that they're, 10 by 4%, it's.
Well, that doesn't stop them from requesting more coverage down the road.
Yeah.
And
Just
just
how
maybe
it does it
another
now, that
tidbit
they
of
only request it
information.
10 by 10 now, they can just
No, I'm
request
saying-
more later.
Alpine Credit Union can come and add something on the roof as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Could add another air
wouldn't have to come in for this particular.
Federal law basically requires us to let cell towers build locations that give adequate coverage.
Coverage, yeah.
So, We have some limitations there as well,
Cheryl,
so,
let's go to the next item.
You were talking, but
yeah,
I didn't want to hear it.
sorry.
So just make sure you ask the same questions there, clarify, just in case anything else comes up.
All right, hillside acres, hillside. So there are two lots actually, sorry. This, you can see whether it's 2 lots currently. They want to turn it into 3 lots for now. They're going to remove the existing home and existing shed in the southwest corner. This is what the new plat will look like with the 3 lots. Did I have to, okay. This is just, I don't know if I even should put this slide in here. This is just gonna be future. They're only working on these 3
That's the
southern
long-term
lots. But this is a concept plan for the future. It's kind of fun to look into the future once in a while, so see where these 3 lots are going. They'll multiply.
Big lots.
Yeah,
Yeah, down the-
28 lots, yeah. It's a lot of acreage there, which we thought UVU was going to buy, or their partners were going to go into, so we're happy.
and this is what it looks like from the street. It's kind of hard to get a street view on.
That building has been unoccupied. My wife and I walk by there 2 to 3 times a week on our walks. That building's been unoccupied for a couple of years now.
And it's going down.
Well, and it's gone.
It's down already.
Oh, is it?
It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't there.
They took it down about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
Just out of
But it
curiosity.
was abandoned. It was an eyesore.
This looks like that panhandle on the top to the west is part of one of those north
It
lots.
was.
Yeah, it's one of those
What happened to it?
it was a nuisance strip.
Oh, okay.
It will probably be moving to part of that road, but I think it's just a nuisance strip.
It's part of the ownership, so it's just gonna maintain until they develop the whole thing, it'll be absorbed into this.
And that lot, is it 6, will absorb part of it when they come in with that plat.
Lot 3 is actually part of that Majors, I think, is
Yep.
people that know it.
Yeah.
He's part of it, I guess in this case it's lot 1, so that's when we asked him to show that whole piece and that panhandle would be part of his overall.
Right.
But we wanted to see how that would develop, because it has been identified on our street connection master plan that stub road there to the west, it needs to connect somehow, either it connects to 8th West or it connects to 6th South. So with him being part of this, in this case it'd be lot 3, we wanted to show where that would be at, so that's part of the reason for all that.
Okay, any questions on this one before I unplug?
Nope.
Thank you. If you want a sandwich, grab one and put it in the fridge, because it'll be gone in about 5 minutes.
It's like building a lot of shit.
I think it's-
It's like building a bunk bed.
I mean, just put a pair in my house.
Testing.
Anyway, it's 4:30. Yep, yeah, we're ready to start, and we have full quorum here, so ask Tina to give us the prayer, opening prayer.
Dear Father in heaven, we are grateful for the opportunity to gather here and to be able to discuss these developments. We ask for the Spirit to be with us and that we can be respectful of one another. And we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Cheryl, you want to start us with the first item? You're fine. It's coming up. It's good.
All right. Item 3.1 is a conditional use permit request for the Planning Commission to forward a recommendation to the City Council for a T-Mobile stealth location of stealth antennas and equipment located on top of Alpine Credit Union at 1510 North State Street. This shows where it's located. Just a definition of stealth. Wireless facilities that have been designed to be compatible with the natural setting and surrounding structures that camouflage or conceal the presence of antennas and/or towers
and that have been certified as stealth facilities by the City Council. And then you'll notice that the first priority is to locate them as unobtrusively as reasonably possible, and putting them on top of an existing structure, which is what they have done here. The maximum height of a stealth facility is 18 feet. This particular one is 15 feet high with 10 feet above the top of the structure. This shows the site plan with Alpine Credit Union. You can see they have the different levels of roofs. Here's the roof plan showing where it will be located on the northwest corner of the facility, closer to State Street. And you are allowed to have 25% of the rooftop in maintenance and equipment. They are using, including this new addition, 4%. So they're well under the 25%. And then this just shows exactly where on the roof it will be located. This is an elevation of what it will look like. You can't read it, but it says that it will match the existing parapet material and color. And again, here are the elevations for the surrounding stealth. And staff recommends that you forward a positive recommendation to the City Council. And do you have any questions for me?
We had a lot of questions in the pre-meeting, so I'm going to try to remember as many as possible. I think one of the important things Madeline brought up, go ahead, Madeline, and it's your.
One of the concerns for me was just following the statutes and understanding the statutes and understanding how to do a conditional use permit, and we discussed that somewhat, but it would be nice going forward if we could have those city ordinances and applicable state ordinances included within our packet so we can read those and have a better understanding. That's just one of the requests that we've been talking about and would like to ask for in making this decision.
I think it did take us quite a bit of time just going back to the city ordinance and looking at it and comparing the height limit of the building, including with or without the parapet, and what it includes. When we came to the conclusion that it does fit within the city's ordinances, but it took us a lot longer than anticipated. And having those ordinances is important for us to be in every packet if we're doing any changes. I know we can go the day or two before, and as we do, and look online, but would that be an issue, Jason?
No, it's not an issue, but we do email the packet, and you can email us, call us, or come and talk to us, right? So if there's an issue, I would encourage you to come and talk to us first and get an understanding, because you have some time before this meeting, so there's not a lot of confusion when you come to the meeting, because we're here to help, we're here to accomplish and try to help you understand all the ordinances. So if there is a question, please email us, call us, come in. We'd be glad to address any concerns or go through the ordinances or give you copies. We can email copies. If somebody says, I wish we had a copy, we could email it to all of you at the same time and just say, hey, here's the ordinance. We missed that. Here's the particular section. We just need to know. We can put as much in the packet as you'd like. It can be as long or as whatever, extensive as you like. That's not an issue for us. We can do that. We can send you links, all that kind of stuff. We just need to know if there's something that's confusing, then we just need to know that.
Well, this packet is on the website for the public to look at and what we're going through. It would be a lot easier for the public to find the ordinance right away with it than them going through the entire city code just to find what they're looking for. That's
true. It would be, honestly, it'd be easier for them to call us than to have us walk in through and explain it than it would for them to try to find it and understand it. And I'm not saying that they wouldn't be able to, but it'd be easier for us to explain it to them. So if they do have a specific question or comment, we can address it rather than, letting them go find it and just, hope for the best, right? So that's why we have planning staff, and that's, we need to utilize the staff.
Did you guys receive any comments from the public regarding this conditional use permit?
We did not receive any.
Yes,
we did.
We have. Yeah, Stephanie Visna has contacted Jason about it.
Yeah, and I did email her the information, yeah.
You emailed her our information?
She had the packet, but I emailed her additional information to clarify what.
I ended up getting an email from Stephanie directly about this item. I don't know if any of you guys received an email as well? Okay.
Yeah, I did get an email from her. I did get an email, and I think she's using one of your old email addresses. It's, I forget the email address, but .@me.
Okay.
But is that no longer a valid email address?
No, it's valid.
Is it?
Valid email, I just wanted to know if which channel should it go through? Should it go through the city first? It's okay for them to email us personally, directly?
So we typically will not give out emails to the planning commission. So if you want to give it to anybody, you're welcome to do that. That's
Okay.
not an issue.
Yeah,
But
no problem.
but we will not give out your email address. But we will, if somebody says, hey, can you email this to the planning commission? Cheryl will email it to all of you, but we won't give the public your email addresses unless you want us to. We'll be glad to give it out if that's the direction. But
You can find anybody right now if you wanted to.
we typically don't,
Yeah.
help in that manner. But if you want to give it to them, that's your prerogative.
Go ahead, Jim.
So I think one of the notes of confusion, looking at the notice that was sent to the public, it says the antenna equipment will be 10 foot 2 inches in diameter by 12 foot 2 wide by 10 feet high. And I know this is on a postcard, so there's not a whole lot of room to explain how cool the word parapet is, or what the roof of the building is, or how that looked. So when I saw the postcard, when I saw the notice, I looked at it and I thought, oh, I know I didn't know what it was called, the parapet thing. And so we're probably not going to see very much above that line. It's only 10 foot tall. My assumption was it's going to be on the roof, and these are the dimensions.
Yeah, and our assumption was that what you visibly can see, that's what we assumed people would think would be the top. So
And I think that was a lot of the discussion in this building.
would be 10 feet
In
above.
the work meeting was, what does 10 foot tall really mean?
Well, yeah, and to be quite honest, none of you called us, right, to ask. So I guess if, we can't have everything, we can try our best to include everything and try to, but if there's a question that's not clear, that's where we need to, okay, there's some issue because we've gotten multiple questions on this isn't clear. We can clarify that going forward, right, and email you all. If we wait till the meeting, then obviously we're not, there was an issue with that, because my interpretation was the top of the parapet is what you're physically going to see. It's 10 feet above that.
For our own defense here on the planning commission, the city, Earl was also confused about it, so I think we can feel good about ourselves if one of the city about it. But
And my name and email are on all postcards, so anybody who got a postcard would have my contact information to call and ask.
okay, sounds good. Any questions about this item? I mean, it's not a public.
I just have, the reason, I'm just trying to figure out, the reason we have a conditional use permit is because it's a stealth antenna. If they just put a regular antenna, there would be no need for any kind of permit or for us to do anything. Is that correct?
correct.
Because they're trying to make the antenna like the rest of the building, that's why they're getting a permit. So the antenna's going up. The only question is, does it look like the building or does it look like an antenna? Is that really what we're talking about here?
Right, correct. Yeah, if you notice the building, I can't remember now, FiberNet, I think down by the mall,
Yeah.
on the east side, you'll see some antennas wrapped on the top of there. I mean, they could do that by permit. It's just a matter of coming in, get a building permit, doing it. But because they wanted to enclose it, that did throw it into the stealth requirement.
Anything else? Is the applicant here? Do you want to add anything to it? And if you do, come and state your name and.
My name is Matt Schucher with Rage Development, representing T-Mobile. I guess I'm just here to answer any questions. The code, I hate looking through the municipal codes as well, but it reads, it's a 1-by-1 setback, so every foot that's visible above the parapet has to be set back 10 feet. And it was kind of a unique building where they had multiple levels, where we could actually do a really unique enclosure in one spot rather than because typically you'll see 3 sectors on a building. You'll see antennas on 3 corners. And this was a unique opportunity to make it look, actually, I think this is one of the better ones I've ever designed. But yes, anyway, we didn't have to, because it's that high, we can get the clearance from the further parts of the building all in one location and make it just look like a penthouse or equipment room or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, you guys have any questions for the
And
applicant?
Alpine, we've worked closely with them. They certainly want, it's a brand new building and they
Yeah, I know Paul. He would want it to look good.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I know it's not a public hearing, but we have a resident here Could we allow that resident to comment on their observation of the proposal?
I
Is that permitted?
don't see it necessary in this one. It's not controversial enough. We addressed
I
all the,
think she has some design ideas, and we have the designer here, so.
yeah, the designer.
I'm happy to answer anybody's questions. But yeah,
Thank you.
whatever you guys want.
Thank you. Okay. Do you have any questions for the designer? I mean, I don't think it would change much on our part, so it would be great if you talk to him afterwards. Okay. I guess we just need to make a motion. Go ahead.
I move that the Planning Commission forward a positive recommendation to the City Council for the conditional use permit of a T-Mobile stealth location of cell antennas and equipment located on top of Alpine Credit Union at 1510 North State Street in the C2 zone.
Second it.
Okay, we'll take it.
Aye.
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 All right. Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you.
All right, Hillside Acres 2, Plat A. They will be sorry. They will be vacating Lot 3, so there are two existing lots. One of them is platted, and others aren't, and the other one is not, is a lot of record. So they're going to vacate just the one lot, but there are two lots involved where they will make three. That will become more clear in a minute, hopefully. That was convoluted. So this shows where the location of it is. This is a demolition plan. They will be taking the house down and this shed, and I learned a few minutes ago in the pre-meeting that the house is already down, so that's already been taken care of. This is the preliminary plat, and this is the new plat, proposed plat. And so you can see that the two lots have now turned into three lots. This is what it will look like in the future, a concept plan. You can see the three lots that we are considering are on the southeast side of the development. And you also probably noticed a little handle on the lot on the north side. That is a nuisance strip. It will be incorporated into the new development when they come in to do that as part of the cul-de-sac and that lot 6. So right now we just have the lots 1, 2, and 3. And this is what it looks like from the street, but now the house is gone. And staff recommends that you approve this one. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions? Well, this is a public hearing.
I do have one procedural question. Love everything that's happening here. Do you know who was noticed around this? I have neighbors who literally are across the street, and they're thrilled. They're like, yay, we get neighbors, we got rid of this eyesore of a building. So there's no opposition, but there are other neighbors who I thought would have been within the distance that didn't get noticed, so.
So there's only noticing at the state. They would not have gotten postcards for a preliminary plat.
Oh, okay.
So
Just point of clarification, on a preliminary plat that has a connecting street, meaning that they're stub streets, they're going to be connected through a proposed preliminary plat, we do notify neighbors within 500 feet. But if it's simply a 3-lot subdivision that doesn't affect any surrounding properties, we typically don't
Okay.
mail a notice. We do post it on the state web page, but not.
Yeah, because I talked about 3 or 4 people, only one of them knew about it, and he was thrilled. And then when I talked through with the other people, they were thrilled too, but I just was curious.
So if you go to the other plan, the preliminary plat that we had showed, because that now is connecting some stub streets out, when that does come in, they will be noticed, yeah.
I see. Okay, well, it's a public hearing. I'm gonna open it for the public. And I'm not gonna make us wait. There's nobody coming in, so that's great. The applicant is here if you have anything to add. If you don't, we'll keep going. Okay? Nothing to add. So we'll go from the motion.
I move that, let's see, I move that we vacate, or what's the wording here, right?
Move the planning commission.
I move that the planning commission vacate lots 3 of 8th and 8th subdivision Plat A and approve the preliminary plat of Hillside Acres 2. Plat A located generally at 700 south, 800 west in the R8 zone.
Second.
Okay, well, Jake Madeline? Jen?
Aye.
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 Okay, sounds great. We go to the minutes and approval. Have any comments or any questions about the minutes from last meeting? Okay, make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Right, Tina?
Aye.
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 Great. Ryan, do you have anything for us?
I do. Sorry to report, but this is Barry's last meeting with the Planning Commission. There will be a new commissioner appointed at the next council meeting, so we just want to express our gratitude to Barry for his 3 years of service. I've really enjoyed working with Barry and getting to know him, and he's been great. We've really enjoyed having him here. So Barry, we have a little something for you. It won't be ready till tomorrow, but we'll be getting that to you soon. So.
The dunk tank wasn't available.
So just wanted to express our appreciation, and we wish you the best, Barry.
Great, well, make a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second, Tina?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Cheryl, we approve the minutes, yes? Yes. Thanks, Barry.